My name is Dabigatran and I'm from Dublin. I'm here to tell the story of my mother's thrombosis, which she acquired through cancer treatment and from being a cancer patient. She had developed a small lump in her neck. She had been shopping over the weekend for Christmas and had been complaining of a pain in the leg. So I didn't really think much about it. I thought she'd pulled a muscle, nothing really to worry about. So she was brought into hospital on the Monday. We went in to see about her treatment because she wasn't feeling the best. She hadn't been eating or drinking properly and we were worried she might be losing weight and losing energy. So she was admitted to the hospital on Monday, and by Wednesday the pain in the leg was still quite noticeable. So she was waiting for the doctor to order a venogram. She was taken away, and when she came back they said, yes, your mother has a deep vein thrombosis. I was internally horrified when I heard the phrase DVT, because I knew a blood clot was a serious thing. I remember sitting on the chair, we watched a bit of TV, little television in the room, and she wasn't looking great, but we were talking about Christmas, and I shut the door, and the nurse's station was over here, and I shut the door, and instinctively I opened the door again and I looked at her. I wasn't allowed to give her a kiss because the nurses said you could have a cold festering or something. Don't kiss your mother, don't touch her. And I opened the door again and I looked at her, and I had never done that before, but I had a feeling that I wanted to see her. The hospital rang me, and it was the ward sister, and they said, your mother's not feeling well and we're not sure what it is. And I said, what do you mean not feeling well? They said, well, she's breathing very quickly, her pulse is very fast, and she seems very agitated. She doesn't look well at all. And still they didn't seem to have any idea of what the issue was or what the problem was. So I went straight up to the ward. I knew where she was, I knew where the room was. They said, you can't go into the room at the moment because she's had cardiac arrest and they're trying to resuscitate her. And I said, what? She said, what? So two young doctors came in holding the file from the original hospital, and I said, what's going on? They said, we're trying to resuscitate your mother because she's had cardiac incidents. They tried in the ambulance, they administered adrenaline, nothing is working, she's not regaining consciousness. And I said, what's caused this? And they said, well, it looks like a pulmonary embolism. It was just like the worst fright ever, because I knew an embolism was a very serious thing. I knew that much. They came in at about 12:20 and they said, we have to tell you that this is not going to work. She's not responding in any way, and you have to give permission now for us to stop trying. She was always helpful, terribly kind, and incredibly funny. The funniest person ever. What I miss the most is that we laughed so much together. After my mother was diagnosed with cancer, we received some leaflets about radiotherapy and head and neck cancers. We didn't receive any information at all about thrombosis, and nobody mentioned thrombosis. She spoke to several doctors about the upcoming plan for surgery and treatment. Thrombosis wasn't mentioned or emphasised in any way. We were sent to a cancer support group. They didn't mention thrombosis or DVT, so we knew nothing about it, or that there was a connection at all. It's only when I started to look at it, after my mother died, that I realised the scale of this. And that made it even more perplexing as to why we hadn't been informed of how serious this could be, and indeed was. I had no idea that 1 in 5 cancer patients would be affected by thrombosis. No idea. And nobody said it to me. It was something I found out afterwards, when it was too late. For any newly diagnosed cancer patient, whatever the cancer, wherever it is, how minor, how major, this is something to take seriously. An embolism can kill you instantly. Cancer is not going to kill you instantly. That's a serious enough fright. As I've said to everyone, you already have a fright when you hear the word cancer. There's no harm being frightened a bit more if it's going to arm you with the facts. What is the point of spending time, thousands of euro, thousands of pounds treating cancer when the elephant in the room is the thing that's going to kill somebody? It was all for nothing. All the times, by the end of it, my mother couldn't speak. She was writing me notes. I have all these notes at home, little things I started writing back even though I could speak, because we were just trying to keep the positivity going and keep the sort of, you're nearly home. And even, we were super close. She was my best friend, and people say that, but we were super close. She was like my wingman and I was hers. But the worst thing of all is the worst thing of all for me is that she had a terrifying death. A terrifying, possibly very needless death. And she was frightened anyway, and this just, in her last moments, confirmed that there was a lot to be frightened about.